the renovation. And so we'll continue to make sure you have all of that information as we go. Is it okay with you if I continue to, do you want me to separate everything out? I will send to you the detailed. Yes, okay, perfect. I'll do that. And that'll be easy to separate out. But for here, I can just give the general overall. Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure that we were okay with that. All right. So the question I'm always asked, how are you going to pay for this after 2026? I'm impressed that you guys have not already asked me that, because usually I'm interrupted very early.
It was coming.
With that question. Oh, I know it was, Janine. So I was ready today. Well, I'm always ready. So we're going to look at a few things. Unfortunately, mental health dollars are at risk in general. We're seeing that happen already. We're seeing grants that have been allocated to mental health treatment across our country be revoked, repaid, requested to just be returned, and programs shutting down immediately, which is scary. I don't ever want to shut our doors for any reason. We need this. So we will continue to work hard and advocate and fight for funding. I put in the number one, the thing that is going to be consistent is the hospital's contribution. So we currently are working through our endowment revenue. So that's the Hancock Health Foundation, as well as the hospital has done an endowment as well. We're going to be hitting close to $10 million, $11 million by the end of 2026. In that endowment, we operate off the 4% payout. So that will be consistent. That money will continue to grow. We will continue to receive the endowment payout. The foundation is earmarked. It will always go for behavioral health only. That was money that was donated by members of our community. And so that will always be there, and it will always have to go to mental health treatment, which is great. Reimbursement is a huge one. Well, I wish reimbursement was huge. It's not, but reimbursement is a big piece. A big component of trying to get our program sustainable is to reduce our loss as much as possible for those that we bill services for. We've done pretty well within our counseling office. Last year, we've seen an improvement in our revenue based on some of those changes, going from 60-minute sessions from 45-minute sessions, going from 20-minute doctor visits to 30-minute doctor visits. That's a big difference in billable time, not just patient care. And we've seen a reduction or an improvement in our deficit by over $500,000. So it's the first time that our counseling office was below $1 million deficit in a long, long, long time. So we'll continue to improve that deficit and continue to work to provide excellent care, but also remembering that it is a business and doing the best we can there. And then IGT funding, the hospital, so that's funding where you have those partnerships with nursing homes within healthcare systems. Most hospitals have those partnerships. That funding, it's been at risk for many years, but while it is there, 5% of that funding is dedicated toward our behavioral health team. So we will continue to pull that down as long as we have that. The money, how much it is, fluctuates. It's been running around $500,000 over the last few years. What I've been able to do since we have your funding, which has been phenomenal, is I reinvested that $500,000 rather than pulling that down and using that in operating as well. It was worth it to us to go ahead and reinvest so that we use the money that we have that we can expense and continue to build on that endowment for sustainability. Grant opportunities, we'll do our best to apply for any grants that may be there. Right now, there isn't anything that's funding 2027 or after. That's the hardest part about grant funding, especially for mental health. And our DMHA, the Department of Mental Health and Addictions for the state, they usually give you about a 1 week turnaround, maybe 2 to 3 if you're really lucky and it's a big chunk of money, but the turnaround's usually pretty short. So we won't know about anything there for quite some time.
Amanda, in 2024, the state allocated about $75 million to local health departments to help support core public health services. Have you ever
Beautiful transition to number 3.
Collaborating with our health department on that? And I know that
Yes.
the other side of that story is our newest governor has talked about reducing some of that funding.
Yeah.
But it may
So,
be, when you think
yes.
about sustainability, it might be a place to head to.
Absolutely. So on your next page, number 3 is the health department's piece. So those health first dollars, in the event that they don't get rescinded, could be a big impact. Their 2025 allotment was just over $1.5 million. When you look at their budget, they have some of it allocated out. In some of the budget and partnerships, Hancock Health is in there. It's a pretty small amount, but we're going to be working and trying to have conversation with our health department to see what we can do. A lot of what we do improves the overall health and wellness of our community. And then on top of that, so their core standards that the health department elected to focus on for Hancock County with that $1.5 million was to reduce fatal overdoses, reduce rates of suicide, and to decrease obesity rate. So all 3 things that are tied directly back to mental health and addiction. So I think there's a lot of justification that we have an opportunity for some amazing partnerships with the health department. So we'll continue to support them and work with them to see what we can do. But yeah, that is definitely in there. And then one of the things that I've been talking about with Steve and wanted to bring to you today as a conversation topic or conversation starter to think about is the new House Enrolled Act 1121. That is acute care hospital local income tax. It is a tax that is allowable to be adopted by a county fiscal body. It cannot exceed more than 0.1%. And is only able to be used for operating expenses for local county hospitals. So that is an opportunity to think about as we move forward. It is, I know it's a big conversation, so it's not an easy conversation to have. But there is dedication that if we were to go down that route, behavioral health would be the recipient. And that could fund everything that we do indefinitely.
Is HEA out there now, or is it something moving through the legislature?
It's out there now.
Okay.
Yep, it's already passed. So it's something, I think it was the last session that it went through.
Okay.
But we opted to not even, it's obviously been on my radar, but not really much of a talking point. But with the way, with the current way we are seeing mental health funding across our country being cut, the chances of us grant funding this indefinitely, I think, are going to be pretty slim. So we want to be able to continue to provide great quality care for Hancock County residents and keep our community safe. We are growing rapidly, right? And with more people brings more challenge. We are seeing, I think part of our 250 referrals every month for new services is because we're getting that many people a month to Hancock County, right? We're growing so rapidly that our mental health system is not going to be able to keep up with the demand. So having programs like ours go away is just unimaginable to me. So I think something for us to keep in mind. We'll be working on our metrics and trying to really drill down more of the metrics. So looking at things like how many trips do we save law enforcement from going to Indianapolis, utilizing our mobile response team. If we can send a mobile response team, clinician and peer recovery specialist to spend 4 to 5 hours putting someone in an inpatient facility rather than sending an officer or two off of our roads to go there, I would argue that it's worth it. And I know we do that many times a month. So we'll start tracking some of that metric so that we can put that to some true dollars as well. And I think that is it. Do you guys have any other questions?
Keep up the good work. We're glad to
Thank
know
you.
that those ARPA dollars and the collaboration between Hancock Health and the county is working.
It has been an amazing journey to be on. I am so very grateful. I think I've shared, well, maybe not with you guys because again, you guys are all new from when this all started, but I was born in this community. I was born right at our hospital, a couple years ago, and it was a lot smaller then, but it is truly my life's work and the life's work of the 50 people that make up our behavioral health service line to support the well-being of our community at large. So we appreciate your support and ability to allow us to continue to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you and your
Thank
team.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Guys, I got to take a brief break.
Okay. I gotta sign the yellow folder. Oh. I don't think Bill has signed them yet.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll look at it.
No, I'm going to bring it up. Yeah, it's gone on too long. Yeah. He did. I was on the phone with him at 4, and he was going to try to catch you.
Yeah, I'm out of there right at 4.
And I don't blame you a bit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. You ready to get back at it?
Ready to
All
go?
right. Coroner Rudy Nyland and Alex Barnes. Good morning.
Good morning.
Rudy Nyland with the coroner's office and Alex Barnes with Chief Deputy Coroner. He's going to do a quick update of our office, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about the possibility of getting a new position for 2026.
Good morning.
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 You have a late night at the State House last night?
Yeah, it's been a long day, but we're all good.
I'm sure. Well, just to give you a quick update on our office, we kind of talked a little bit about this last week, or not, a couple weeks ago when I was here, but a couple things that we're doing now that have never been done before. We're using an on-call scheduling system now for our staff that has a mobile app. Staff are able to go in and claim shifts based on their availability, and that's working really well. Prior to that, it was kind of a page came out and whoever was available took it, whoever wasn't available. So this is working out really well. We're using the online payroll system now, just like every other department. I think for many years we were the only department that was still doing it paper. We've obtained a primary office space now down in the basement of Community Corrections. We furnished it with some temporary surplus furnishings and until we can get some new things put in there. All of our staff are set up with county email addresses now, which I know that seems kind of minute, but it is really been beneficial to us because we do email confidential medical records back and forth, and a lot of times when we would request medical records from hospitals and stuff, we would get denied because we were using Gmail and Yahoo accounts. So that's been a real good thing for us. And then, kind of with those, excuse me, those email addresses, we're using, Microsoft 365 and all of those capabilities as well. We've purchased a pre-owned power cot for our transport vehicle. That has been really helpful as well. We've used it already several times and it has paid off already. We've updated our county website page with more accurate, up-to-date information. The ability for people to go on and fill out a form to request reports, funeral homes to request documentation as well. We've got key card access to our office door downstairs. We're in the process of the vehicle transfer from the sheriff's department. And then we're also in the process of getting office computers, telephones, a printer. So all exciting stuff on our end. But through all of that, we have certainly realized that there are some operational challenges that, we are dealing with. We're really just trying to get this office up and running to where it honestly should have been for the longest time. And I want to give kudos to Dave Stillinger for, his past 2 terms that he was the coroner. I mean, he utilized a lot of his own business's resources to, keep this office afloat. And now that we don't have that, anymore, we really need to have our stuff up and running efficiently. So some of the operational challenges that, we're facing is, and you guys obviously know this, but a lot of people probably don't realize that we are a 24/7, public safety department, and we're recognized as first responders in Indiana legislature. And when a call comes out, we need to be ready to respond promptly. Probably our biggest operational challenge is our day shift coverage. Death is unpredictable. You can have all the stats in the world and numbers and percentages, and that could just change all in a blimp next year. But every case we investigate, regardless of what time of day, it has standard tasks that need to be completed, and a lot of those tasks only can be completed during the normal working day when you're collaborating with other agencies that work during those hours. Every one of our employees within the coroner's office has a full-time job outside of this. This is strictly a part-time job for them, and they cannot leave their jobs easily during the day to respond to calls and often just perform general duties. I mean, yesterday I played phone tag with a doctor's office 4 times. They're just hard to get a hold of. And there's many other instances, where I could give examples of that. Our autopsies are all held during the day, and they often are getting pushed back multiple times throughout the day because our forensic pathologist is a traveling pathologist. They serve about, I'd say 75% of the county. So they'll go from Jeffersonville to Bloomington to Marion County, all over the state. And, we'll have a standing autopsy time of 9 a.m. and then at 8:15, they'll be like, time's pushed to noon. Now we got another case. So hard to balance schedules and take time off for that. Just the administrative tasks that are involved with, operating this office, returning phone calls, attending these meetings, are a challenge when we don't have someone here daily. And if you didn't know, we don't even have an office phone. The 911 center answers every single one of our phone calls, whether it's death related or just where can I get a death certificate. So
Do you put your phone numbers though on the website so that it'll ring down to you for all those, or?
we don't have that set up yet. So that's something that we're
Most of those are
investigating.
your private cell phones, though, correct?
Yeah, there are private cell phones as well. So, so that's taking up, dispatchers' times on the phone, dealing with questions that, they're not, trained in, and, they just forward it on to us and things like that. So I did compile some statistics. So for the last 2 years, you'll see, do you have this packet in front of you? Okay, perfect. Our total year cases in 2023 and 2024 were just about roughly the same. In 2023, we had 55 investigations that occurred during working hours. Last year, we had 67. And so far this year already, so in 1/4 of a calendar year, we've already had 31. These numbers have changed a little bit since I last sent it. So we have had 31 during the day this year. We're at 64 total cases this year. So it's a 24% increase from where we were at last year. And that number is just going to keep climbing as our county grows. So Rudy's going to talk about kind of what he and I feel is the best solution to get us continually moving forward and to operate as efficiently as possible.
Yeah. The one thing I kind of wanted to add on to that is last year we had about 160 calls. Right now we're on line of having about 200 to 215 calls. The one thing that we are definitely seeing more of, and it's definitely time consuming, is your complex investigations. And those are investigations that involve non-natural deaths, like auto fatality or some type of accident, any type of criminal type investigation, even if it ends up being a natural death. If it's a criminal investigation type death where you get law enforcement detectives and evidence techs in, those are always time-consuming cases. And then, of course, anything that's pediatric-related deaths. Since December, our office has handled 3 pediatric-related deaths. So it tells you that our call volume is very much up there. And those complicated investigations take anywhere from 8 to 12 hours. A lot of times you have the date of the death, you have the follow-up the next day, and then you usually have a secondary follow-up several days later. So even if someone who's not working a Monday through Friday position, they sometimes need that Monday through Friday help when a case has happened on a Friday evening or a Saturday evening. So that's what we are looking at, is in improving our office and improving the county's responsibility of having a Monday through Friday chief deputy position for the year 2026. So that is something that counties around us have. It's a very common thing for a county our size to have that type of position. So it's not just for the Monday through Friday caseload, but it's to help any other deputies who's on the part-time basis to give them that assistance, and also increase the relationships with the hospital, the law enforcement agencies, the meetings that a lot of times our office has not been attending, and that's something we can start doing. So
When you did your study of full-time salary comps, did you check and see, I don't know if Shelby County or Johnson County has full-time coroner, what their,
Yeah, so I'll be honest with you, it's kind of hard to find salary study information based on population because not every coroner's office operates in a full-time capacity. And I really think that that's just based off of what they've been used to and really who's in office. Shelby County, the coroner there, he is a full-time firefighter. He's also a full-time doctor as well. So he really relies on his part-time staff. I think he has, the last time I talked with him, he has just one office assistant that's not a certified deputy that really just does paperwork.
The positive thing is right now, our deputy staff budget is 107,000. So we believe that we can go and have this position within that budget because therefore it would take away the Monday through Friday and some of the on-call time. So we believe we can work this proposal within that budget. The thing we don't have worked in is the full-time benefits. So that would be the biggest change for, I think, your branch of government is, are you able to take on the benefits? Because like I said, the 70,000 that we're looking at would come out of that 170,000.
And I mean, you would increase your budget by another $100,000.
No, they've already got it.
They've already got it. Alex, when you and I had originally met and went through this, I think we were talking salary in the lower 60s. Where did you come up with 70,000?
So I went ahead and did a study based on the donut counties around us. We are the only donut county as far as a coroner's office that does not operate in a full-time capacity. And obviously our numbers are just going to continue to get higher as people move out here and deaths occur. So on your information there, you'll see salary comps for elected officials, their chief deputies, things of that nature. You know, I don't really know how you all see this. You know, population definitely, you know, can play a factor, but you know, the job is the same. So we just want to make sure that, you know, there's parity in the position.
Bartholomew, well,
but
we
they don't
use
have
Bartholomew County.
Get McDan.
And obviously Allen and Lake County, they're going to be a lot bigger than,
To answer your question,
ever do.
Mr. McDaniel, yeah, the 107,000 is what's in our budget now. And that would come out of the budget for next year,
And
minus the full-time benefits. I mean, that's,
and that's about another $30,000.
yeah,
that's
that
why I
I,
said that you're increasing it by 100,000. I mean, it's good. You had to pay for it every year, so.
But they've
we
already,
would be increasing it by 30,000, right?
they've already got it in their budget to assume this position, because this position would be handling all the day-to-day operations, the autopsies, all the daytime call-outs from 6A to 6P, thus eliminating those dollars, so that could just fold right into this new position in 2026. Can you sustain that going forward?
So based on our budget, you know, we are paying a part-time deputy coroner $185 per case that they investigate. So if you, again, it's unpredictable, but if you, to calculate that, but
How much? 100.
$185 per case, let's just say 165, probably where we're going. What does that come
As
out
far as
to?
what they paid out.
That doesn't include anything, because you also, you get paid if you work over a certain amount of hours on a case, then you start to get an hourly rate as well. Is that correct? And what is that hourly rate?
That is correct.
25.
25 an hour.
And then there's on-call pay in there as well. So if you take 65 cases away from that 100 and assume that that full-time deputy during the day is going to investigate those cases, that's just built into the salary.
And that's a 6A to 6P, that's a 12-hour.
Yeah, so the way that we figured that is, you know, when they're in the office, that'll go cover their 35 hours. If they get a call between the hours of 6 and 8 or 4 and 6. If their work exceeds the 35 hours, they'll just be compensated. We have to have coverage 24 hours a day.
And how many deputy coroners do you have?
We have 3 active, very active ones, then we also have 3 that's not as active. So we do have a total of 6. And then
You need to
as
expand
a
your staff a
coroner, I
little bit.
take I always take a day to help decrease that cost too. So there's one day a week where I'm the one always on call, and I will continue that, through the night shifts or something. That way I can still go out on calls and keep up with the county. So we really pay for coverage. I mean, we're covering the county 6 days a week because my salary, I'm doing 1 day a week, so 4 times a month. I do the on-call.
What are you guys', what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, I watched the coroner's office for Hancock County become a more modern-day coroner's office for 8 years. And they're right, David Stillinger did a great job, and he devoted a lot to this county. It's hard to get everything done. I've watched it firsthand, and I am in complete agreement that maybe it's time that we make that move.
I would like to know that there's more accountability. Because, I mean, with this study here, I mean, the donut counties, we can't compare ourselves to the donut counties. They're too big. So I think we need better information going forward. And I think maybe to look at the office itself, the efficiency of the office. I mean, because I don't even know if council will approve it.
They probably aren't going to approve 70,000. The benefits are on the commissioners.
But once again, I think I would like a little bit more information, more substantial information, something that we can actually compare apples to apples with.
Well, that's the problem that you're probably running into, because in a lot of cases, we compare ourselves with Bartholomew County. Same type of growth, same type of population size. They don't have this, and they are probably still running their coroner's office in a more old-fashioned way. I don't know that, but that's just an assumption I'm making.
Commissioner McDaniel, I think on the topic of efficiency, that's exactly what we're trying to do. This office has had a lot of inefficiencies, and we're trying to get it that way, and we're realizing how much work to do that, and we want to make it to where it stays that way. And I personally, and I think Rudy would agree with me, I don't think that there's a way to do that without having somebody in the office day to day.
So why isn't there already a full-time position?
Was.
I mean, we're in 2025. I mean, behind in so many ways. I don't know.
I think you just hit the nail on the head. We're behind.
Well, and I think the last couple of times we had coroners, they operate out of funeral homes and they had staff that could cover those things. And we're at a point right now where we're not.
Honestly, we're probably part of that problem because we took calls. The 3 of us, myself, Barnes, and Taylor, basically handled the county call load for the last several years. And, we did a good job with that. But
I would like to see your calls also. I mean, just something more to actually justify this.
well, we can certainly give you a stat of calls.
I mean, because that's where that's what we have to justify.
But like I said, a lot of our call load that's changing is your complex investigations. Like I said, we've gone years without a pediatric death. We had 2 last year and 2 already this year. I'm talking school age deaths. Just in December of 2024, We had a fire fatality. We had a warehouse shooting. That was a complex investigation type of case. And then we had multiple non-natural deaths, which, like I said, are always, and that's
I would like to
substance
see the
abuse.
coroner in that office doing that job. That simply because, I mean, the way I look at it is next year I'm gonna find somebody to do my job to where I'm not there. I mean, we're gonna set a precedence here or what?
I mean, having the actual coroner,
Yeah.
I don't agree with that, but.
I don't necessarily, I don't disagree that we need somebody there. I just don't know how that works when you have somebody listed as coroner and deputy coroner. Is that the actual coroner in your pay salary that's working? Or is it the elected? Is it somebody they put in full-time or the elected official?
The elected official's still gonna make your, whatever you're making salary now. But it would be that full-time equivalent because the coroner is technically a full-time person putting in the hours, day to day, Monday through Friday, that would be that salaried individual.
I just don't think, I think we need to discuss it a little bit more. A little bit more stats that way, because, I mean, I just don't want to start a precedent to where, I mean, next year, because, I mean, we've got full-time, we got the auditor, we got the treasurer, we got the reporter, all that kind of stuff. I mean,
Different breed. I mean, this is a different breed.
get that, but
When a death occurs, the auditor doesn't show up at the scene.
I mean, for example, Johnson County's coroner and chief deputy are both part-time. They have several full-time staff that help them with. They are both full-time firefighter paramedics. It really is just how your office has been structured for years. I can give you X amount of examples. Madison County, for example, local funeral home owner, Dunahay Funeral Home, he would be the coroner for 4 years, and then they flop families. Wife would be coroner for 4 years, and they would just happen like that for 25 years.
Right, they do it, and they pay full-time staff more than their elected salaries to do that.
So you're asking basically the same thing here. The elected official is still a full-time paramedic.
But like I said, and I just want to say one more time, it would be coming out of, minus that 30,000, but we would be looking at it coming out of the budget that we have.
But, I mean, as Janine asked, I mean, what are you going to do in 2027?
Same thing.
Are you going to?
Is it sustainable is
Yeah,
what he's asking.
yeah, I mean, that's where we are, because right now, we still, I mean, don't have the details on SB1, number one. I know, I met with Dr. Parker yesterday, and he said they're gonna lose $1 million, so still, I'd just like a little bit more information.
Understood. So,
Get to Madison County, just give us any information on that, because I mean, I just want more
I
information.
understand. No problem at all, so.
So can you do that within the next 2 weeks? Gather that kind of information that Commissioner McDaniel would like and meet with him and share that? And
So you would like as close
your
to a
calls-
comparison with counties?
Calls, runs, everything.
Understood.
because if we can do this again, we'll get you on the 29th meeting agenda to share the same information. So that way, if things potentially play out the way they would, you'd be able to go in front of the budget committee with the council 1st of May.
Would that together we have on the 29th in the evening?
Let's do.
Sarah, would you do that? Okay.
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 That'll
Thank
be
you
an
for your-
evening meeting, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, what?
That'll
That's
be
an evening
Evening meeting.
Okay.
You can make that. You work in the evenings. You're good.
All right, we'll get with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Could we address?
Well, let's,
Couldn't be done.
about him donating his PTO to her.
Yeah.
Either that or just
I think it was,
load up, yeah.
13 hours.
I don't know. I just want to, I mean, if we do it, I just want to make sure everybody else knows that, hey, if we do it, this doesn't mean we've opened this box for everybody to say, well, I didn't know.
yeah. I'd like to know what that was. I mean, there was talk. Is it legal? I mean, I know given time, I know they've done that for a while, but he was talking about other PT time or whatever that she had lost. It was, what was that discussion though?
She was sick.
Yeah.
And rather than to affect the whole office, Josh got her home. And so, and then he had donated, here he is.
Kelly Ellert and Josh Sipes, would you come up here
Forward.
to the podium, please? We'll get our HR update, knock it out, and get this knocked out all at the same time.
I appreciate y'all bringing this today.
So the last discussion I heard through, right, so there was something, a legal deal, whether it could happen or whatever, the time you were.
I think you're talking about two different things.
Is it?
Too.
Oh, okay.
One
Mine
is
is
cash handling, the other one is PTO, which is why Josh
Yeah,
is
this
here
is,
today.
my situation is rather simple. We had a sick individual in late January. Because she's a rather new employee, she only has a year belt, she doesn't receive a ton of time. And so she had ran out of time, or was fixing to. She was gonna have to come to work, even though she didn't well. And so I told her I would donate the 4 hours to finish out the week. So after return, she would then have the remainder of the weekend. I know it's not an excuse, but I was unaware that donating that time would cause her to lose the following month's PTO allocation. So she not received February's allocation because I donated 4 hours to keep my office safe and her safe, which I feel like is a consequence to her on my decision. And so what I'm asking is that either commissioners understand that this was not intentional or malicious in any way, and that I'm asking to reinstate Ms. Hurd's time. I'll take whatever chastise you'd like to give me, and I will make sure this doesn't happen again. If that's not acceptable, then I would ask that the commissioners allow me to donate my own personal time to her without consequence, so she doesn't lose time again in the preceding month.
Now, we've actually switched times, haven't we?
No problem with donating the time, it's just how it impacted her. The only problem I have from it, how are they gonna see the money end of things? But I feel like addiction to our, well, that's because we already have the PTO to cover that. So, but are you asking to take your PTO back and not have them make an exception so that she doesn't lose it?
Well, ordinarily, I mean,
Because that's not, I mean, that's just a
I
little
would love
messier.
I'd love for them to reinstate her lost 13 hours.
That would be an exception that's in your
That
jurisdiction.
wouldn't cost the county anything. It was already planned.
It wouldn't affect
We're only talking about
our
13
payroll.
hours.
We're all talking about 13
So
hours.
if it's okay with you, in my opinion, we just reinstate the 13 hours on the road and we tell Josh, hold your hand out so we can smack it. And if there's any issue, please call HR again to say, give me a handbook justification if this is right or wrong.
Okay, and what I would ask from Kelly is an email go out to the employees to let them know that this won't be addressed again. You know, that way everybody knows, and, I mean, it's nothing against anybody, it's just come back next month and say, oh, I didn't know that. I mean, so,
Yeah.
so I think we need to address it in some formal way.
So I would make a motion that we just reinstate the 13 hours to the employee from probation.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We reinstate the 13 hours of PTO time to the affected employee in probation as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
I didn't get the part in there about slapping his wrist.
I believe that we need to leave that off the record.
So, but everything else is gonna stand just the way it was already done, right, Kelly? So,
Yes.
Yeah,
There
I've
will
still
be no-
donated the time and it's,
that was kind of you to do that.
There will be no changes to the payroll.
So
The only
that-
thing that will happen is that one of the ladies will credit her bank for the time.
I appreciate your
Okay.
understanding and taking the time
welcome.
to do this today.
Well, it's been going on too long.
It has
So,
way
me-
too long.
Yeah.
Well, I hated to bother you, but
Well, that's fine.
she's bothering me, you know what I mean? So, thank you again.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
The only thing I had for my update today was to ratify Commissioner Spalding's signature on the document from TrueScripts that we received last week that had such a tight deadline.
Okay.
Do we need a motion to
Allow him to sign it, is that what you're wanting?
want to sign it?
He's signed it. It's been sent to TrueScripts because it had to
Is it
be
a
sent
motion to
yesterday.
ratify?
A motion to ratify the signature.
I make a motion to ratify President Bill Spalding's signature for TrueScripts.
Second.
Been moved and second. We approve the ratification for Bill Spalding's signature on the TrueScripts agreement. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we have to see the next guy?
What's that?
Do we have to see the next one?
Oh,
John?
not yet. Let me, hang on a second. Is Mark Hall here by chance? Not here. Okay.
He was here.
Gary took care of him, right? I just wanted to make sure. I didn't know him. John Jaconis.
No tie.
No tie.
It is now 10:49 a.m. and we will get through this as quickly as possible. I
That
sent-
clock, I just want to explain this to you. That wonderful clock that our facilities
Yeah.
manager got for us has a timer on it.
Yeah.
So just to let
And
you
you've
know,
got
we
11
can
minutes,
actually,
John.
Trying to do.
we can actually turn
Trying
that
to
on.
do. Do you want to call them out again this week or each in your order? I don't know how they're in your book. If they're. Okay. Make sure that we. So this one is the putting the locks or the electronic locks on the cages backed up with a physical key lock in case anything happens to the system. We talked about this a meeting or two ago, I think. Feedback was good. Would you agree with that? That, the questions that everybody had, I believe I answered. And there was one slight change to it because they had forgot to charge us for the manual locks. So that was added in. So it added $450 to the total. And this would just continue to go along with our door access and having people ID in instead of key in, so we keep better control of things. The grand total with labor on that project is $21,870.
We do, and we can pay for that out of the 2022 B bond.
HUB.
That'll go along with the project in the basement.
I would make a motion that we accept the quote number 9269 from Nelson Alarm in the amount not to exceed $21,870 to be paid from the 2022 B bond.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the equipment sales agreement between Nelson Alarm and the county for the electronic locks to the cages in the basement at the annex in an amount not to exceed $21,870 to be paid for out of the 2022 B GO bond. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
What's next?
He doesn't know what your packets are
Yeah, I don't,
stacked up next.
I've got one here for the Power Edge R760 server.
okay, so that will be, is that the 10,000 to 2479?
10,000, oh, hang on. It probably, $10,169 is what I'm getting here.
Oh, there we go. Yep, I'm sorry. Yep, 10,169. That is to replace our current recorder, which we use to record radio traffic and 911 calls, 10-digit calls, as well as screen capture on the dispatch screens. And obviously it's been a little while since we had to replace this. So this was the one that Bernie recommended, and it actually is, and I'm sorry, the total is actually $10,224.79.
Yes.
There's a $55 for a couple of cables as well. But that can either come out of CCD or come out of our bond, whichever one that you choose to.
I would like it to come out of your bond just so that we could get that
Yep.
right. But that's
Yeah,
what I was going to ask you.
Once AT&T bills us for the final 911 project, you're going to see about 600,000 leaving that bond.
Okay.
So, which should be in the next month. We're just working out some final little minor issues with.
What do you call that bond?
It's just the 911 bond. I
2022A,
think it's
isn't
40. The bond number is like 4629, if I remember
It's
correctly.
2022A, right?
Yeah. Because I know we need to try and get that zeroed out before the end of the year, I think. Or
Yes, please.
I'm gonna try my best, though.
I move that we accept quote 300018793105.1 from Omnia National, and that would be for our current recorder replacement in the amount not to exceed $10,224.79, paid from the 2022 A general obligation bond.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the quote between the Hancock County 911 Center and Omnia,
It's Dell.
or Dell, excuse me.
Yeah. It's
Quote number
I think that might be the- is that the brand?
3000187931051 in an amount not to exceed $10,224.79 for PowerEdge R760 server to be paid for out of the 2022 AGO bond. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion
I see.
passes.
That's the contract name but it's being purchased from Dell.
Okay, it just says Omnia National
Yeah,
Cooperative.
I saw that. I'd never noticed that
It sure
before.
does.
Okay. Are we on to the,
The next one is quote 1CGXKD9.
all right, so that is one of the servers, or one of the network switches for video relay. What we're doing, IT wants a specific type of network switch to go onto the camera systems, and so this will be for, let me make sure here I got the right one. Yeah, this will be for 123 East Main Street. This will go at 123 East Main, basically to bring the video feeds from that building to this building, and where the server will actually be housed. But this is the network switch. It's a layer 3 switch, 48 ports. And again, the grand total on that is $6,261.91. We're not going to fill all those ports immediately, but as work gets completed at that building and more cameras go up specifically on the exterior, we'll probably end up with a second one as we go, depending on number of cameras we do put in that building.
2022B bond then to pay that.
Make a motion that we accept quote number 1CGXKD9 for a 48 port switch, Cisco Catalyst 9200, and then a module, expansion module for 10 gigs in the amount not to exceed $6,261.91 to be paid out of the 2022 BGO bond.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the quote from, who was that again, John? The quote maker?
This one is CDWG.
CDWG.
Yep.
For the 123 East Main video with a Cisco Catalyst Network Advantage Smart Switch and a Cisco Catalyst 9200 series network module in an amount not to exceed $6,261.91 to be paid for out of the 2022 BGO bond. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
The next one, I'm going to assume, is 1CGZ0VR.
Yes.
And that is the same exact thing, except it's a 24-port switch for 233 East Main, again, to do the exact same thing that, to get the layer 3 switch that will get the video over here to the recorder. And that one is $4,108.04, again, through CDWG.
Yes. Yes.
I make a motion that we approve quote 1CGZ0VR for the Cisco Catalyst expansion module and the Advantage switch and that's 123 East Main.
That one's 233 East Main, the prosecutor's office.
Prosecutor's office,
sorry.
223 East Main, in the amount not to exceed $4,108.04 to be paid from the 2022 bond.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve quote number 1CGZ0VR for 233 East Main for the Cisco Catalyst 9200 series network expansion module and the Cisco Catalyst 9200L network advantage switch in an amount not to exceed $4,108.04 to be paid for out of the 2022 BGO bond. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Okay, the next 3 items are regarding my favorite topic over the last few years, and that's the building rekey project. 2 of these were originally signed. However, after we went to best and final, we ended up getting some savings from them, and so they rewrote the quotes and asked them to be signed again with the new discounted amounts. So in total, it saved us probably about, I think it was about $2,200, I believe, that we negotiated down from their original quote. Then the third item that you have from them is, that will be quote Q00DWHNS, or I'm sorry, WHN5. So And that's for $4,850.18. What that ended up being is when we did the physical walkthrough of all of the buildings with Wesco and Dormicaba, they found issues that were going to have to be corrected. So this is in their, this is their item list to fix all of those issues so we can actually rekey those doors properly. And it's had to do with hardware. I don't know they have all the stock numbers on there. But it's basically additional hardware than was originally quoted off of the first two quotes. So we say